Cut. Welcome everyone, welcome to this anger segment. Chimoge here again. You can see the title. I'm just stating a fact. Akanu, the West African name for the god of thunder. I just put up a short of the same title. Check it out and the art that you can see within. Ooh. Forgive me, I'm tired. I didn't like how I said that. But anyway. Abu Amadi Oha. Abu Amadi Oha. Abu Amadi Oha. Alright. Next Hand of God segment. Welcome. I'm thinking about the next Hand of God segment. Let me complete the introduction. Ooh. Chai. Welcome everyone. Kalu Nogoha. Tiabrunem Ofuma. Agnosa Abuma. What did I just say? I just called in all my ancestors to prayer. Specifically, I'm also going to call in my blood relatives who passed away. Some of you may be wondering, what is my religion? I'm not religious. Some of you might then be wondering, what is my spirituality? I will just say, I acknowledge facts, and I call in spirits when I pray. And no, I'm not calling in random spirits. I'm calling in spirits I have a connection to. I do not recommend talking to random spirits. Anyway, side note, if you're just praying to God and you're not totally sure what that means, that is a random spirit. Anyway, my name is Chimoge. This network bears a name that I use to publish music, and I consider it to be my being name. What does that mean? It's one of the names of my being. What is my naming philosophy? It's different than most people alive today, at least their conscious philosophy. Basically, everyone has multiple names, but you have your most exact name, your saved name, your given name. My given name again is Chimoge. My government name is Chimoge Chijoke Ibe. An alternate white structured name for me based upon the history of my patrilineage. And I'll just say it like that because it's complicated. Again, when you have oppression all over the earth, people can't even name themselves properly. The name is Chimoge Chijoke Ibe Nwoko. Ibenwuku. Colonialism and or something else cut off the NWUKU, so the government last name is Ibe. Anyway, I've used both names in the past. The government name is there. I don't think your government name is really your name, but you know, it doesn't have to be. It just documents stuff, so it's there. The other one I've used in the past, I think the second half of college, I graduated college in 2020, entered in 2016, I went to Harvard University. I'm just saying that to note what happened. I know that's a loaded statement. I'm not putting that kind of signification on it. Anyway, the second half of college, I was using the last name Ibe Nwoko because I was thinking more about how to properly name myself and call myself. My college degree bears the last name Ibe Nwoko. Anyway, what else? Foremost nickname Moge, M-A-O-G-E. Also call it my forename, my language Ahambu. Moge is the shorter form of Chimoge. Moge means knows the time or knowledge time. That's another name for a Madyoha, also husband. The last translation I got from Spirit, and I also thought about it, that makes sense. Chimoge is a name I want to get changed eventually because I don't think it's a proper name. With that being said, it's better than 99% of names. Why is that? Two reasons. One, it's close to a Madyoha. I'll explain that more in the future. But you can just see it. If you get rid of the chi, you get Moge, which is a Madyoha. Two, in terms of its overall origin, it's better than a lot of the shiny names we have today. Names like Peter and Paul. Names that just refer to basic Kalu Ihan, as I will say. Anyway, that's me. More of me. I was born in what is now called Washington, D.C. I do not like to call it that because that's an arbitrary name given by oppressive people. I prefer to call it wrong. Spirits told me that means the sector of Oshun. What is that? Apparently the world is divided up into different sectors that are governed over by the different things that undergird existence. Interesting. If you don't understand that, I understand. It just came from above. Anyway, we need something better than what people who drew lines on a map said. Anyway, my matrilineage hails from the village of Ebem Ohafi in West Africa. The reference point for my patrilineage right now is Algi Urata, also in West Africa. They're about a 3-hour drive from each other. I've been to both places, but I've not been as much as I would like because my family is a calamity. Talked about that before. Anyway, that's me. I was born on January 2nd, 1998. Whoo! I don't like noting my age exactly, but because it's not healthy, but because of common practices, I want to let you know my age because I'm not a fraud. I know they tend not to do it in their 20s. Well, maybe some weirdos do, but and a lot of men older than me get vague about their age. There's a lot of men between the ages of 35 and 60 who could be any age. That's not good. I'm letting you know who I am. I'm 28 years old. But anyway, I don't want to say that too much. We shouldn't have to look that exactly at when we were born, because then you're looking too exactly at when you will return. Life is a cycle. But people should have an idea of your age, and also people should not be so obsessed with age. But the world is messed up. Anyway, expand forever. What is the point of this segment? This is part of my network. Right now I'm broadcasting this on YouTube. I've registered viewers. Thank you. Every view is a blessing. I have also registered a comment. Thank you very much. Every comment is a blessing. Side note. I should have added a note in the description. This is still an emergency message. You can understand that. Basically, I'm low on food. I have some food here. I might put some in my mouth at some point on this broadcast, but it is not enough. I'm running on low right now, so please patronize me. That dovetails what I'm saying. This is a business, but this is a just business. The number one goal of my business is not to obtain profit. The number one goal is to rule the world. But then there's Akanu. The number two goal is very wrong. Yes, the number two goal is to get me things. The primary mechanism in society today for gaining things is money. So yes, send me money. You can buy my art. Yes, you'll get something yourself. You can buy my merchandise. I have things like clothing and also work materials, and I'm adding more stuff. Yes, you'll get something yourself. You can subscribe on Patreon. Again, the art is on Patreon as well. The highest tiers of Patreon subscription, you'll also get merchandise. And then you get various other benefits at different tiers. Yes, you'll get something. And then you can donate. And yes, donate, you'll get something, although I accept it's more abstract. Basically, you keep me going if you like me. You can donate on PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. Thank you very much. Once again, my name is Shiboge. Ahambu Moge is at work. Obasi Nkoye. Abum Shango Bussy. Anyway, this is where I come to flex, among other things. Right now, I'm flexing. As I flex, I'm thinking of my next Hand of God segment. What is the Hand of God? That's a segment over on a different network, Shimoge's Comments. You can check that out. Basically, that's where I explain things I've talked about before in more depth. There we go. Expand forever. Abu Mamadi yo ha. Abu Mamadi yo ha karaya. Abu Mamadi yo ha ba be. Abu Mamadi yo ha ba be. Another thing, my language. Again, to say in the way most people understand. I am a stickler. What does that mean? I don't like to name my language. The most people who know my language and or are familiar with my language would name it. What most people say. They'll say it's Igbo language because of the classifications of my group in West Africa that I'm from. I would just say that's not the proper name for the language, and we don't have the proper name for my tribe, and also we don't understand the group. Basically, I think the group approximates a tribe kind of poorly, and then the language is a subset of another language. Nonetheless, if you look up IGBO people, you get my reference point even more. If you look up IGBO language, pronounced Igbo, a lot of people say Igbo. I don't like doing the bad sounds because I don't think they're healthy, but other people disagree. Anyway. Side note, because I grew up in the US and a lot of people are rude and disingenuous. People might say I can't speak and or I pronounce things wrong and or I'm not doing the tone markings wrong. If I was helping someone cook in the kitchen and I said, Biko, Netum aqua. They'll say, oh no, do you want me to go to the bedroom and get a bed sheet? And I'll just look at them and say, Tufieko, we need to eat. I hope you get my point. Anyway, AKWA, aqua, one of the things, one of the 49 things. Another translation for aqua, brokenness. Common phrase today, inebakwa. Translated as you are crying. That's really deep. What you're really saying is you're just exploding brokenness into the world. As in you're a broken person and you're just broken down, you're screaming and kicking. We should not be saying inebakwa so much. And people should not be crying so much. On the side note though, if you have to cry, cry. No shame in that. Anyway. Ooh, the pains of hunger. Anyway, think of the next Hand of God segment. I'm thinking on two things. Yesterday I talked about how people should not arbitrarily discard information obtained from spirits. Secularism is bad, and side note, so is a lot of religiosity. They get secular when they want, and or they pick and choose which spirits they listen to in an illogical way. That's one. Another thing, this is the deeper one. I've been thinking on something. I talk a lot about metaphysics. Because of that, I touch upon what people would call gods and goddesses. Because I'm black, because I'm from West Africa, because I'm from what people would now call Igbo land. And yes, I'm from there. You're from where your lineage is from. You're really not from where you were born. A lot of people are outer limits people today. They say, I was born in New York, I'm from New York. Yeah, but anyway, the whole point is, I've been looking up Amadioha online just to see what is trending, because I want what I say to plug into the discourse. I've noticed some negative trends. One negative trend I've noticed is just representing Amadioha as a man by himself and or with other people, striking people down with lightning. I believe in spirits, but not every spirit. That's a very weird spirit. Anyway, I'm thinking of addressing that one. Anyway, I'm just thinking which one to do. Because let's be real. One, we don't see that. Two, that's not an effective. Well, that's just not the dominant way to dole out justice. And then side note, why don't they at least represent him with an eagle or something, or the jaguar or something? Animal you call the jaguar. I think it should just be called the cat. Agu Madioha. Why the sheep? Especially when you're talking about striking people down with lightning. The sheep flying, I don't know. Side note, the sheep, and again, I'm just going to say this affirmatively. I know this has not been properly represented to the public. It's just in the world today, there's a lot of metaphysical ignorance. So we just, like, people should just be okay speaking. And also in general, it should just be okay speaking. And then if you feel passionate, let's debate, let's do divination, whatever. The whole point is, the sheep is part of Amadioha. It's just, Amadioha is a thing overall. There are people within it, but it's a thing. The thing has 10 rings. The sheep resides in the 10th ring. The 10th ring are people who are not representative of Amadioha, generally speaking. He's really not representative. Another name for the sheep is Ashila, the false deer. He is the connection of the father of evil. Why is a Shella the sheep in the 10th ring? Because he's a prisoner. You can't just have a Shella running all over the place. In the world today, we have a Shella running all over the place. That's why you have things like the Manosphere. And I'm done. The point is, you don't just represent a Madioha with sheep. Just because it's aggressive and it bangs its horns against something doesn't mean it's the greatest man alive. At least not like that. But also another side note, one thing I've learned is that, and again, I learned from a lot from my ancestors and other spirits I talk to. And again, any spirit I talk to, I do my best to clear it. Okay, they're just basic methods where you pray to minimize bad spirits and interference. Obviously, it's not perfect. Okay, if our spiritual information was perfect, I would be floating right now or something. I'm trying. Anyway, whole point is, let me increase my seriousness. There's some expansion people, Onyeka, some of the saints. Okay, I'm just speaking now. I know a lot of that information might hit all of you. There are a lot of the saints that are part of things that should be part of a 50th thing. There are 49 things. There should be a 50th thing. But this is a prime example of how destiny is also by choice. As it is best to follow your destiny, but no one can force you. And when I say that, I'm not saying you're equally good if you don't follow your destiny. I'm just saying, literally, you have to choose it. Okay, your destiny will not materialize if you're forced into it. And that goes for both camps. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, the 50th thing should exist, but does not exist because he chose not to come into being properly and wreaked havoc at the beginning of the universe for a long time and still wreaks havoc. It's just referred to as Onyaho, that one, and basically causes illness. I'll go into that more in the future. But anyway, Ashela should be part of Onyaho, but Onyaho doesn't exist. Ashela was one of the few people who decided not to go along with it. So Ashela Guamadio. Side note, a lot of those legends of fights between the gods and things like that, that's about people deciding not to be part of, anyway, I'll go into that more in the future. But a lot of what I've learned about that is dark. So I'm thinking of how to properly represent it, because obviously a lot of truth is dark. Another thing to think of, if you think of Christianity, again, I'm very critical of Christianity, but if you plow through that soil, you can find bits of truth. No, that is not me telling you to keep going to church. No, that is not me telling you to keep reading the Bible. I studied the Bible. I don't think it's worth it for the average person to just read the Bible. No, your pastor is not telling you the right thing. Anyway, the point is, if you've read the Bible, and this story, it's also not, let me say it like this. I think there are bits of this story in the Bible, but there's also a popular account. If you're talking about the fall of Satan, the fall of Lucifer, a lot of that's really about how basically, someone, really it's a thing, but there are people within it who should have been great and decided to be the worst. That's it. Anyway, I'll go into that more in the future. Oh, feeling it, but I need more food. What should I consume? Abumonishi Kala Akanu. Once again, thank you for the comment. Someone wished me, this is Jeniversity. Thank you, Jeniversity. I'll read your comment. I read comments at my discretion. Blessed afternoon from Los Angeles, California. Thank you. Another comment, I'll read this. It says, Jesus loves you. I say that's part of the problem. Jesus loves too many people. He's committing acts of war in his lineage. Anyway. What am I feeling? But seriously, I've said some things, but the overall tenor of my comments when it comes to Christianity and certain entities that are valorized by Christianity is just basically people have been led astray. People are worshiping false idols anyway. And they might correlate to real things. It's just you shouldn't worship those real things. And I'll leave it at that. Anyway. Yes. If the idols were real, where's the wealth? That's what I'll say. Okay. Let's focus in on the goal. I call this segment anger because this is where I go when I am in anger. That means you're at your peak and you're trying to reach a goal. Anger gets demonized today. It should not be. Anger is just. Anger is the god of thunder. Anger is Saturn. Anger is the end of the cycle. Once you get to the end of the cycle, you want it to begin again so you can reach a new goal. Expand forever. And another thing, just because somebody exploded and it was scary or creepy doesn't mean it was anger. Usually it was being faked. And I'll say it like that. Food though. Not really. Don't really want to eat. It's weird. I'm low on food, but it's just like the particular food items I have right now, I don't want to eat this second. I think a popular misconception is just because someone is hungry, they'll eat anything. No. You have to give them food, and you have to give them the right food, and you have to give them the right food for the right moment. We are not in Rinri, the animals referred to as cockroaches. We do not just eat anything. Anyway, food, Nri, N-R-I, my language, food. I call that animal as a baseline of food because it's just like too much food as an animal. When it's bad, it's a cockroach. Anyway, I think, I don't know what everyone calls it, but I think in my language, again, most people call it Igbo today. Most people would call them Achicha. But I think that term actually applies to what we call ants. And those are actually animals that should be exalted. I call them Ugon Tanta as well, small eagles. When you think about it, very similar to the animal you call a wasp, which I say is a small eagle. Please just use 2 seconds of imagination if you don't know what I'm talking about. You can see how a so-called wasp is really a small eagle. It swoops down from above and it dominates. Anyway, but yeah, Ochicha, the shining carrier. Yes, if you just think about it. So that name, when you break it down, it sounds too good to apply to that other creature that's scurrying around. In Rinri, Booyah, Ochicha, Boo, Kamalu, Abum Kamalu, Abum Kamalu, Ekem Bon Kama. Ekem Bon Kama, Abumekem Bon Kama, Abumekem Wu. I think I'm gonna focus more on the point yesterday. This is in the Hand of God segment about what is it? Not discounting spiritual information. I think I'll go into a different aspect of it. And then I'm just wondering, the Yama Yoga thing I want to address. I'm just thinking. In Rinri Buamadioha, in Rinri Buamadioha, in Kamadioha, Abu Hada, the tenth ring of the God of Thunder is the prison equally. The God of Thunder has to imprison the enemy himself. Abu Mama, Amarama, Abu Mama, Amarama, Amarama, Abu Mama, Yoha. The best man in the prison is the overseer of the prison. Aka, the extension. Yes. The animal you call the iguana, that is his category of life. That is animal. Aka. Most people would translate Aka, aka as hand. I would say most specifically it means extension. And if it's a hand, if it's an extension that removes, then it's a hand. Anyway, slight discrepancy. Whatever. You know what I mean. Aka. If you just think about how it looks, say this finger is the head, these are the 4 2 limbs, these are the back 2 limbs, and then my arm is the tail. Isn't that thing kind of like the Aka? Anyway, things manifest on different levels as different things. They're all intertwined. Yes. Abu Mamadioha. Abu Mamadioha. Abu Mamadioha. Side note also, you don't have to fear the things. There's this concept of sacrilege. There's such a thing as sacrilege, but sacrilege manifests as crime. It is not sacrilege to say you are great. It is not sacrilege to say you are a great thing you've heard about it forever. Abu Mamadioha, Abu Mamadioha, Abu Mamadioha, Abu Mamadioha, Abu Mamadioha. Abum Kalakan, Abum Akua, Animakua, Abum the hand of God. Abum the hand of God. Abum Kalakan, Abum Kalakan, Abum Kalakan, Abum Kalakan, Abum Kalakan, Abum Kalakan, Abum Onishi Kalakan, Abum Kalankanam, Abum Anamanakan, Abum Kalakan, 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 Abum Opara, Naforum. Karabumum Oparanam. Abu Mamadio. Abu Mamadio. Abu Mamadio. Abu Mamadio. Abu Mamadio. Abu Moge. Abu Moge. Amara Moge. Madara Beroza. Abu Madara Uchiha. Amadio Ha. Yes. Those of you who are familiar with anime will be shocked at what I just said, but I'll just say it like this. I believe that what we call Igbo language and what we call, what is commonly called Japanese are subsets of the same language. I just think we've missed the connection. I say that because the way many words look and sound are very similar. I accept that there's a lot of gaps in that knowledge, but I just think that when language is spoken properly, we'll see those are two subsets of the same language. And again, I'm not the only person who's observed similarities in the, I guess, sound and structure of their words, especially the roots of words. So anyway, that's what I think. Madara Uchiha. Madara Uchiha. Abu Madara Uchiha. Madara Uchiha is a villain in the anime manga series Naruto. I am of the belief that that is based upon a great man of the past, but I'll leave it at that. Abu Madara. Sometimes in hindsight, when the world is broken, the hero gets represented as the evil one. Prime example, this is from the ancestors. Another name for a Madioha is villain. And another name for a Kamalu, which is the most energetic form of the thing that can be called a Madioha, is super villain. Super means Kalakano. Kalakano a Madioha bu Kamalu. Abu Mamadioha Nkichi. Abu Monishi Kalakana. Abu Monishi Amadioha. Amadioha Najunuwa. Abu Kalakana Nkichi. Abu Magu Kalakana. Abu Magu Kalakana. Alright, let's see. Hand of God. The hand of God. The hand of God. Fun fact, the phrase the hand of God that takes away sounds cool to me. My ancestors told me that refers to enemies, so I don't know. Maybe it's because he doesn't dispose of the sin properly. I don't know. But really, a lot of phrases we have today sound cool. We have to sift through them. Which ones actually refer to good things and which ones don't. And we also have to look at the caveat. Sometimes evil can be cool. That doesn't mean it's good, it just means it's deceptive. And I'll leave it at that. Expand further. Abu Mele Madioha. Abu Mele Madioha. Abu Shangele Karayan. Abu Shangele. Abu Mugo. Abu Shangele. Anemimele. Abu Shangele. Shangele Gele Gele Gele. Abu the 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 Gele. Abu Mamadioha Ngiche. AK from Jiko. What am I saying? My conception category. Yes, we're all a conception category. What do we mean? We're able to procreate with each other. Obviously, not literally every single individual should procreate with each other. And, obviously there's like compatibility, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Anyone who can reproduce with a human being is my category of life. No, that weird story you heard does not count. I'm talking about everyone that can reproduce with a human being. You know what I mean? Anyway, the whole point, I said, my conception category unite. Heat gods. The gods, the category. Abarinkeke. Kad. Abu Mabarinkeke. We are gods. Look how we shape the earth. Let's do it for good. Expand forever. Abu Mamadioha. With godhood comes responsibility. Abu Mamadioha. Who said the gods cannot trespass? Anyway. Abu Mamadioha. Abu Mamadioha. Abu Mamadioha. Abu Mamadioha. Yes. We can refer to our category of life as Amadioha. We collectively are the good husband of the people. Yes. And also Akanu. We collectively are the greatest man alive. The greatest man alive got women in it. Abu Mamadio. Alright, let's think. What am I doing with this? The Amadioha component. There's a lot there. To hold on. Abu Mamadioha Kishi. Abu Monishi Maruchiha. Abu Monishi Maruchiha. Abu Monishi Maruchiha. Amaranguku. Abu Mudara. Udara Bunyangu. Anyangu Buamadioha. Hayana. Shanganya. Shango Bukalakana. Pikachu. Kaburnam Osa. Natumatu, Abumo Parachuku Natumatu, Abum Nabe Chuku Natumatu. Yes. I am the father of the piercing cry of the mother. I am the father. I am the father of the piercing cry. I am the father of the piercing cry. I am the father of the piercing cry. I am the guy. I am the guy. I am the guy. Expand forever. What am I saying? Nabe Bukala Akanu in measures. Just had a great revelation. Nabe Bukala Akanu. Let me see. Nabe Bukala Akanu. Nabe Buamadioha. Abu Mamadioha. Abu Mamadia. Amadioha. Onechua. Abum Shangorila. Manju Shangorila. The Gorilla. Interesting. Abu Mamadio Hankichi. Abu Mion Yishi. Anime Yishi. Abu Yishi. 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 Anime Yishi. Abu Mon Yishi. Anime Yishi. Abu Mon Yishi. Abu Mon Yishi Kala Akanu. Another thing, I need to do more personal updates on Moge, especially when I have stuff to get off my chest that I want to unpack more. I mean, I talk about it here, but when I come here, well, I'm trying to figure out the difference. Anyway, back to the hand of God. The hand of God. The hand of God. This is going to be our business center here. Okay. So you can use offices or conference rooms. It's first come, first served. You don't have to like reserve or anything. We have the Can I add to this? Oh, effects. I've never really done this. Ooh, that's interesting. Ooh, Abu Nabi. Nabi Bukala Akanu. Alright, let's take that off. It's kind of weird. But it's fun to play with every once in a while. Or, okay. Anyway. Alright. Kalaka. Okay, because I really want to go more in depth into that point. I think the one about the spirits, I think I'll just say somehow articulate that in the same way, and then I have to mix in a Madioha somehow. You know what? Interesting title I just came up with. Do not discount spiritual information. That is a sin against Amadioha. Apparently, a sin against Amadioha is the ultimate sin against the land. Because not only have you sinned against the land greatly, you sinned against all other things as well. Interesting. Interesting. Abu Monishi, Anamenishi, Abu Monishi, Yishi, Kakam, Nabi Bukalaka. What is it like when I turn the lights off? Kalaka, Abu Mamadio Hankishi, Abu Mamadio Hankishi, Abu Mamadio Hankishi, Abu Mamadio Hankishi. Alright, I have the title. Thank you very much. See you next time. And look out for the next live stream on Shimoge's comment.